Chair, ladies and gentlemen, although I'm speaking from a great distance, it gives me real pleasure to welcome all of you to this year's annual AIDS event and lecture. I'm especially delighted to welcome once more Professor Sheila Thlue, the UN AIDS representative for Southern and Eastern Africa. Many of you will remember Professor Thlue's inspiring words at this same event some years ago when she spoke about HIV and children. And I am sure you will be equally inspired this evening by what she will say on the AIDS epidemic, especially in the way it affects Southern and Eastern Africa, and what needs to be done to reverse and completely eliminate it. It is also a great pleasure and honour to welcome the great AIDS activist, Sister Miriam Duggan, to whom countless people in Uganda and elsewhere owe it that they are still alive today. Sister Miriam's current focus on responding to the HIV risks and concerns of injecting drug users has surely equipped her to speak very knowingly and trenchantly on an issue that is of a concern worldwide, including in Africa, and including here also in Ireland. And we are very happy to congratulate Sister Miriam on being the recipient of this year's Presidential Distinguished Service Award, a well-deserved award that we are all delighted to know about. Miriam, I can only send you a virtual hug, but I hope that before the evening is over, Sheila will have come to my help by giving you a warm embrace of congratulations on behalf of all of us on this side of the world. Through the great generosity and foresight of the Irish people, speaking through the government and Irish Aid, this lecture series began in 2006. At that time, the world was just beginning to cope with HIV and AIDS through more affordable and easier access to the drugs that keep HIV in check. The antiretrovirals, or ARVs, as they are called. Things were very bad then. In fact, the highest ever annual number of AIDS-related deaths was recorded in 2005, the year before the first of these annual AIDS events. Since then, the number of such deaths has fallen, the number of new infections each year is becoming less, and a person living with HIV has a much better prospect of living a healthy and productive life today than such a person would have had in 2005. But the AIDS pandemic is far from being ended. This is shown by the tragic fact that at the beginning of this year, some 37 million people were living with the virus, and more than half of these did not know their HIV status. The bright day when we may say that the disease has been eliminated as a global threat may come by 2030, but although UNAIDS is working hard towards this, 2030 is still a long way off. And the hopes for 2030 will not materialize unless the world continues to take account of the disease and to keep it high on the agenda. And that is the theme of this evening's gathering. Keep HIV and AIDS high on the national and international agendas. Ensure the resources needed, not only to maintain, but also to expand the present level of response. Take every possible lawful measure to prevent the transmission of HIV and to develop a culture where people will not engage in activities likely to transmit the disease. Make antiretroviral drugs available to every infected person from the moment they are known to have the disease. Take every step needed to bring it about that equality between women and men becomes a lived reality in every sphere of society. And take realistic measures to ensure the nutritional status of those who are on antiretroviral drugs. And this last is a vital point. As with so many other medicines, the AIDS drugs have to be taken with food or after food. But it is a real tragedy that so many people with HIV can access the drugs but don't have enough food to be able to absorb them. Although my circle of contacts is now very limited, twice in the last week I have had people coming to me telling me that they had not eaten for 2 or more days and so could not take their ARVs. Nothing could be more harmful to them. And another good reason for keeping HIV high on the agenda was given in a documentary on young people and development in Zambia, broadcast from Dublin by News Talk on the 21st of November. There, the co-founder of a student-run agency told us that in Zambia, 3 young people between the ages of 18 and 24 become infected with HIV every hour. 3 every hour. 1 every 20 minutes. That adds up to more than 25,000 in a year. And that is happening now. It is happening today. For the sake of these and similar young people, we simply must keep HIV and AIDS on the agenda and keep it there until every country in the world has totally overcome this abominable disease. And let me share with you one innovative way in which Zambia is keeping HIV high on its agenda. I am speaking from Lusaka at the end of November. This coming weekend, a large pop concert will be held in the Lusaka showgrounds with many international artists. Admission to the concert will be costly, but it will be free for those who can show that they were recently tested for HIV. And to facilitate this, special testing facilities with associated entertainments and something of the air of a circus have been set up in a number of townships and are being steadily patronized by those who want to get their free admission tickets to the great musical show. A wonderfully imaginative way of increasing HIV testing and of reaching out to young people, and a great way to keep HIV high on the agendas of communities as well as of state agencies. And the Irish government has taken steps in the same direction. When this lecture series started in 2006, the original intention was to let it run for 5 years. But as the epidemic persisted, the government decided with great foresight to keep the event going indefinitely so as to keep concern with HIV and AIDS alive in the national consciousness and hopefully also in the resource allocation process. This is a strong national assertion that Ireland will not turn its back on this massive humanitarian event or problem, that it will not sweep it under the carpet. and hopefully this strong commitment to remembering and talking about HIV and AIDS will also be matched by an equally strong commitment to channeling financial and human resources to where they can be best used in responding to what is still a devastating epidemic. Chair, ladies and gentlemen, let me end here by thanking all of you once more for your presence this evening, and let me beg of you to keep this disease high, not only on the national agenda, but among your personal concerns also. Put people first. Remember, it is human beings who are enduring the horrors of this disease. Parents, academics, young people, others, people like yourselves. Never forget them, so long as even one person remains infected with HIV. And now let us hear from Professor Clew and from Sister Miriam. With two such distinguished speakers, you are sure to have a very inspirational and informative evening. And when it is over, I wish each one of you a very safe journey home and a very happy and blessed Christmas with your loved ones. May God bless all of you, and thank you once more.